Most buyers run the second they see a high condo fee in Arlington or Alexandria. $700, $800, $900 a month, and they're out. And honestly, I don't blame them or you. You're scrolling listings. You find something that looks great in Clarendon or maybe Old Town Alexandria. The price feels reasonable, and then there it is, that line item, $850 per month condo fee. You haven't even walked into the unit yet or turned on a light switch, and it already feels like you're losing. But here's what I've seen happen over and over again with buyers in Arlington and Alexandria. That initial reaction, while totally understandable, can quietly cost people a lot more money than they realize. And the reason is simple. Condo fees aren't good and they aren't bad. They're misunderstood. I was out with a buyer not too long ago looking in Arlington. We walked into a really nice condo, great light, solid layout, walkable to the restaurants, close to Metro, everything that you would want. The list price was in the low 700s, and the condo fee was just under $900. And I could feel it immediately. Before we even got past the kitchen, he was mentally out. He looked at me and said, "Brian, there's just no way I'm paying that every month." And again, fair reaction. That's what most people think. But instead of moving on, I said, let's just pause for a second. Let's not react to the number. Let's understand it. So we stepped back and did something really simple. We started listing out everything that fee was actually covering. Water, trash, insurance, exterior maintenance, roof, landscaping, snow removal, long-term repairs. And then I asked him something that I ask a lot of clients. If you bought a townhouse or a house instead, where do these costs go? They don't disappear, they just move. And they move into places that are a lot less visible and a lot less predictable. This is the part that most people miss. The condo fee feels expensive because it's right there. You see it every single month. You can't ignore it. But the cost of owning a house, those are quiet. They're delayed. They show up when something breaks. Those costs are not what they used to be. Insurance is up. Labor costs are up. Materials are up. And a lot of the housing in places like North Arlington or Delray is older. Beautiful, but older. And older homes don't ask for permission when something goes wrong. They just send you the bill. Now, here's where things started to click for him. And honestly, this is where things start to click for a lot of buyers. I told him, this building that you're looking at isn't operating like a homeowner. It's operating like a small business. So let us compare this in a very simple way. If you own a home, you're paying retail for everything. Water, retail price. Trash, retail. Insurance, retail. Repairs, retail. But a building with 100 units, they're negotiating all of those things in bulk. And when you actually lay that out, you've got a homeowner paying water $100 to $150, trash $30 to $50, insurance gap maybe $100, maintenance savings, if you're disciplined, $200, $300, sometimes more. And most people, by the way, are not consistently saving that. They wait until something breaks. So when you see that $800 or $900 condo fee, you're not looking at something overpriced. You're looking at something that's honest. Now, this is where we need to slow down a little bit because not all condos are created equal. If you spent any time looking around Arlington or Alexandria, you've probably seen two completely different types of condo living. One is what I would call garden-style communities. The other is high-rise, full-service buildings. And these two types of condos operate very different. Garden style, take a place like Fairlington Villages. If you've ever been there, you know the feel. Red brick buildings, tree-lined paths. It almost feels like its own little neighborhood tucked inside of Arlington. You're a few minutes from Shirlington, easy access to Route 7, and quick drive into DC. And the condo fees there, much lower than a high-rise. But here's the part people miss. In a lot of those units, that fee is incredibly efficient. You're often getting water, sewer, trash, landscaping, exterior maintenance, sometimes even basic cable, depending on the setup. So, functionally, you're paying your condo fee and your electric bill, and that's it. And for a lot of buyers, especially first-time buyers or people who want predictability, that's a huge advantage. Same idea in a place like Park Fairfax. Different layout, more spread out, a lot of green space, but again, very all-in style living. And then you've got a completely different category. You walk into a place like Turnberry Tower in North Arlington and Roslyn, and it's a different world. Floor to ceiling glass, concierge service, garage, valet parking, balconies with views of the Potomac. You're minutes from Georgetown, right near the Key Bridge, with quick access right into DC. Or the water view, where it almost feels like hotel living, right near the Roslyn Metro. Easy commute, incredible skyline views. And then something like Watergate at Landmark on the west end of Alexandria, which is more of a self-contained community, gated, tons of amenities, access to I-395, Van Dorn Metro, shopping nearby. It's like resort living. And this is where the conversation changes. Because now we're not just talking about condos. We're talking about lifestyle. You're not just buying a unit, you're choosing how much of your life you want to manage yourself and how much you want handled for you. I've had clients over the years who were very, very focused on avoiding condo fees. And I understand that instinct. But I can also think of multiple situations where that decision did not age well. One client bought a single-family home thinking they were saving money. However, within 2 years, the roof, the HVAC, a water issue in the basement, all in, it was over $30,000. No warning, no planning, no spreading it out. Just a bill. And that's the trade-off that nobody talks about. With a condo, you're not avoiding those costs. You're smoothing them out. You're trading spikes for stability. And then there's another aspect that's harder to quantify, but once you experience it, it is hard to ignore. Most of these condo buildings, especially the higher fee ones, are not randomly located. They're right where you want to be. Walkable to restaurants, close to grocery stores, near the metro, quick access to highways like 395, Route 50, or the GW Parkway. You wake up, grab coffee downstairs or around the corner, and it's a short commute. No yard work waiting for you on the weekend. That's not just convenience, that's time. And for a lot of people, that's what they're really buying. There's also something subtle that happens in these high-rise buildings and condos. You start recognizing people. The front desk knows your name. You see the same faces in the gym or in the lobby or at the pool. It's a different kind of living, less isolated, more contained. For some people, that's a huge positive. For others, it's not their style. And that's okay. This isn't one size fits all. Now, let's fast forward. You own this property for 5 years, maybe longer, and eventually you sell. What are buyers looking at? They're not just looking at your unit. They're looking at the building and the community. Does it feel maintained? Does it feel stable? Do the finances make sense? And buildings with strong reserves, consistent management, and yes, sometimes higher fees, tend to check all of those boxes. Now, let me say this very clearly, because this is where you can get into trouble. Not all condo fees are worth it. And here's something that surprises a lot of buyers. Sometimes a low condo fee can actually be a red flag. You see a $300 fee in an older building in Arlington or Alexandria, and it sounds great. But what it often means is they're not saving enough for the future. They're keeping fees low today and pushing the real costs down the road. And when that bill shows up, it's not $50 more a month. It's a $15,000 special assessment. So when you look at condo fees, the goal is not just to find the lowest one. It's to understand what you're actually getting and what risks you're avoiding. If you're looking at condos in Arlington or Alexandria and you want help figuring out which buildings actually make sense financially, reach out. And if you're in that $600,000 to $1 million price range, I've got a curated list of buildings with strong financials and great locations throughout Arlington and Alexandria. Just email me and I will send it over. The goal is not to avoid a monthly fee. It's to avoid a decision you regret later on.